So we need to look at it and be like, okay, well, what is this firearm gonna? What are we trying to accomplish with it? All right, I have some that I use for deep conceal, and like there's like if I had to tuck shirts in and stuff, I have a different gun for that. Um, and I understand that they cost money, but like I said, again, it's a lifestyle change. So it's an investment in yourself and an investment in your family if that's who you're really what you're truthfully carrying a firearm for is to protect your loved ones. Then it's an investment in yourself and your family at that point. So you know Tom Given says lets us know that it takes about $500 to $700 is what it costs for a good defensive handgun,
Yeah.
and it has to meet those four requirements, right? It has to meet them. There's no, I have a bunch of guns I do like that I will not use for carry guns because they don't meet all four. They'll meet some, but not all four, right? So we have to be able to reach those I guess standards so we can be carrying a proper firearm too. I'll go over real fast if you don't mind. Actually, as I said,
Yeah.
we got it's got to be effective. Meaning we got to shoot a caliber that's going to stop a 6'5", 350-pound person pissed off on drugs or alcohol. So we got to be shooting 9, 40, 45, 38 special, 357 Magnum. Stay away from 380s and 22s. They just don't do as well. And then it's got to be reliable. I mean, it's got to go bang every time you press the trigger. Last thing I do is I don't pick my firearm up out of the safe and get ready to go to work and go, hope you work today. And just put it on and walk out the door. It's got to be reliable, right? And then it's also got to be portable. So I can't carry a gun that's so big that I can't conceal it, but it also can't be so small I can't get to it. That's the key. You got to be able to still get to it. Just because it's tiny, you can conceal it. Okay, well, good. You have it on you, but then if you can't get it out and deploy it, and then you just carry around a paperweight all day long. Congratulations. The last one's ergonomics. That's entirely up to how your hands work and the capabilities and of people's hands and such. Um, the tricky side to that is most people that are newer shooters do not know how to hold a gun properly. So when they hold the gun, they aren't holding it correctly. So they say, "I don't like how this feels." Okay, and that's what has to do with a lot of the not knowing. And once the confidence comes up by learning about how to hold it correctly, how to operate it correctly, I've noticed that a lot of my students they gravitate to like full size guns, compact guns, and the most of them don't like shooting the subcompacts and the micro carries they call them now. Now I know there's a place for those. I'm not saying there's not, but most of the time we consider those backup guns. And I may be you may disagree with me on this, which is fine, but those micro carry guns are backup guns at best. They shouldn't be your mainline carry gun. So when people roll in with 365, 365 XLs, 43Xs, even 48s and such, I mean, really, those were designed to be kind of like your backup gun. They weren't made to be like to replace an actual, I call it like a first line carry gun, like the first one
Like
you're
a
going to go.
backup gun, as in like my primary gun went down and I'm rolling to my backup gun, right? Like something
Correct.
on your ankle or something like, you know,
Maybe at a different location on your body, just maybe you're like
yeah,
4 o'clock on your body if you're strong side, like at 4 o'clock, or if you're right-handed, or 7 o'clock if you're left-handed. If you're
yeah.
carrying appendix on the other one, I mean, it's a backup gun. It's not. It really wasn't designed to be. It with in mind probably was not really designed to say this should be the only gun that I'm rolling around with. And plus the capacity's lower on those things. I mean, the 365s are 10 round mags. And then if you want to get a 15, you can. At that point, though, you've extended the grip out length long enough. That's what you're really trying to conceal. So you just defeated the whole purpose now of having a smaller gun, is because you've made the pistol grip longer. That's truly all you're trying to conceal because the rest goes in your pants. So why not just carry a bigger gun then that's going to be easier to shoot down the road, and you'll be able to make better, be more proficient with it, a little easier to master. Why not do that? Same with revolvers. Revolvers have their place. They're a good backup gun. I will backup carry a J frame, a 642 Airlight. That's a backup gun to me. I also my Bob Stewart. He's one of my favorite people in the world. and he used to call them his underwear guns, and it makes complete sense to me too. I'm like, well, shoot, I'm just kind of sitting around the house, and I got to go out to the mailbox. I'm not going to
Yeah.
strap up everything I carry on me. I'll just put it in my gym shorts and walk out to the mailbox and get my mail and come back inside. You know, it's a like I said, it is literally just a backup gun for me. But he Bob calls it an underwear gun. It's always stuck with me. I think it's hilarious, actually.
I think it's
When
awesome.
I
Yeah.
when I hear that thing about like just sitting around, somebody sitting around in their underwear, they have it down in their tucked down in their waistband of their
Yeah.
underwear. I think that'd
Oh
be kind of
man,
funny. No, but
man.
but on a serious note and everything, um, you know, the choice of what you carry, I mean, it's really up to you and what you're going to train with, but it's got to meet those four requirements. Like I
Yeah.
love P226s. I think they're awesome guns. I can't carry them because my hands don't fit that gun properly. I mean, I don't have, I don't have, catcher Smith's hands, so they just don't fit my hand right. So that's not meeting the all four requirements for a carry gun. So that's why I don't carry it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like when it really comes down to, I mean, look, like there's crime, okay? And what I've had to do like a couple years ago was I sat down and I wrote down a list of all the things that can happen to me, like all the different threats that I may encounter, the different emergencies that I want to be able to respond to, and like what skills and gear do I need to respond to those emergencies? You know, like for instance, I'll just give an example. Like if the car flips, if I get into a car accident and I can't escape my car, I can't open the door. So inside of my car, there's a little glass brick device right there on my little overhead visor. It's snapped in with like a metal key ring, and that way, no matter what orientation the car is in, I can just reach up and grab it. It even glows in the dark, so I can see that if
Nice.
if I really need to. Um, there's a glass. It's a little device, and it's called a Rescue Me, and there's a little glass break, and also there's a seatbelt cutter. So you got that going on, and then also in the back seat there's a trauma kit, not a first aid kit. It's a trauma kit. Um, it has like four tourniquets. It's got four sets of chest seals. It's pretty loaded
What
up.
would what would you define different between how would you define a first aid kit and define a trauma kit? What would you
A trauma kit's
say are
made
the
for trauma. So
No, I
like
understand that part.
yeah, but
Like as far
but
as
yeah,
like
so
internally wise.
yeah, I'm talking like you need to uh what was it? So there's let's see. So I think the forceps back when I was learning, like you'll probably recognize this from back in the Marine Corps. The four life-saving steps: stop the bleeding, start the breathing, protect the wound, treat for shock.
Yep, bingo.
So what all do we need in order to stop bleeding? Like I need if it's a limb that's bleeding and it's an arterial bleed, it's gushing, then I need tourniquets. If it's a joint that's bleeding and I can't put a tourniquet on it, I need to pack it. And if it's my torso that's bleeding, then I need to plug it, like basically just kind of seal it. So that's where chest seals are going to come in really well. Um, if it's my neck, I really just you got to be able to apply pressure the best way you can and kind of seal that up a little bit more. And if it's your head, you want some kind of padding. So all of that stuff is inside my trauma kit. And I kind of apply those same rules to my EDC. Like, what kind of threats do I want to stop? I want to be able to stop street robberies and muggings. I want to be able to stop like non-lethal violence, like if someone just wants to fight me, like some kind of crackhead, or if someone's drunk. With simple assaults, 80% of assaults are simple assaults, which they don't use a weapon. So and I'll just use that as an example. Let's say there's that, right? Somebody gets pissed off at me at Walmart and they wanna kick my ass. Okay, do I really want to roll on the ground with them with jujitsu? Because they might have COVID or hepatitis C or whatever. I really kind of want to do some distance. So that's a good point for OC spray. That's the tool. And I also need the skills that are associated with that tool, such as how to use that OC spray. And so those are the type of threats that I want to be able to defeat. One of the reasons why, I have an optic on my gun is because for more distant threats, I want to be able to, like, if someone is 10 yards away from me in their truck and they're pulling out guns, or if there's an active shooter in the mall that I happen to be at the time, or if there's anything else like that, if someone comes into the church with an AK, then I want to be able to have 100% accountability for those hits. And the optic helps me do that with my eyes. Like,
Oh yeah.
you're more of an iron sights guy, but that's because that's the sighting system that you trust more. I kind of see that as the difference between, do you prefer red or do you prefer orange or do you prefer green? It's the same
That's right.
thing as, I see it the same way. Different eyes are going to process that a different way. Different brains are going to process that information a different way. If you
That's
hand
right.
someone a jigsaw puzzle, they're going to solve that puzzle differently than the way you would solve it. So
Right. Maybe somebody does all the edges first and somebody doesn't. I don't know.
yeah, and so that's what I do. I sit down and I'm up for like, okay, what kind of threats do I want to be prepared for? And another thing I do is I learn about the threats that are in my community, the type of threats that that you would hear about on the news, and that everybody hears about riots, everybody hears about mass shootings, everybody hears about muggings and carjackings and stuff like that. Write that stuff down. That's what I did. I wrote it down, and I was like, how do I stop this? And if I don't know that, then that's a class I need to take. And if I
That
don't
makes
have that,
sense.
yeah, and if I don't, and it's not really even so much about the gear. It's just about like, what skills do I need to defeat that threat? Sometimes it's as simple as, okay, if someone's trying to carjack me, hit the skinny pedal on the right and haul ass through the stoplight.
That's right.
Um,
Hmm.
if I can't do that, I need another plan, and that may even have to be something that you really want to think about that ahead of time.
Yep.
So if I don't have skills for that, if I don't have a parking lot for that in my brain, then that's a class I need to take. I need to
Sure.
take a vehicle combatives class. So, or if you're not very comfortable with, using a trauma kit, or, rendering trauma care to your loved ones, that's a class that I need to take. Folks, I want to give a very special thank you to Top Gun Shooting Range here in Memphis, Tennessee. This is where I teach personally. You can shoot our fully automatic machine guns in a safe and controlled environment. We also have a barbecue restaurant right here in the building. Ferguson's Barbecue has 4.7 stars on Google reviews, and also is the only public range in the Mid-South that allows you to draw from the holster. And personally, I believe that that's the best way for you to practice for handgun self-defense. Folks, I do not shill for anybody. I promote the causes that I believe in, and I believe in Top Gun Memphis. Come by and see us.